review for Abigail, 2024. A group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure. They retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they're locked inside with no normal little girl. So this is an interesting movie, totally different than what I thought it'd be. And I did like it. It has its flaws, but it's well done. The actress who plays the little girl is actually really good, because sometimes child actors can not be good. But sorry, but I did really like it. Basically, they kidnap this girl. She turns out to be a vampire, but that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. And it's kind of hard to talk about the movie without spoilers, but it's an interesting movie that is definitely different, and it's directed by the two guys, I think it's two, who directed Scream 5 and 6. And I'd probably like this more than those, I'd say. Although I did think 6 was an okay movie. There's certain parts of this movie that I kind of thought were a little laughable, though. Like, she's a vampire and she's hunting down these people, and she's a ballerina, so she's like doing ballerina moves, and it's kind of funny at first, but then it kind of got old and it's a little ridiculous. But it's an interesting premise, and I did enjoy it. It made 42 million at the box office, so I think it was a hit. I would recommend it. But oh, and this is Melissa Barrera. She was in Screams 5 and 6. Okay, I think she's better in this than those, because I actually thought like she wasn't that great in those movies. So that's kind of interesting, because I didn't even realize it was her. So she's better in this than those, I'd definitely say. So I'll give her that. She's basically an ex junkie that you find out early on, and by the end she's like the final girl basically, and it has Dan Stevens in it. It's a really good cast. Dan Stevens, Giancarlo Esposito. Very small cast, because it all almost takes place in one location. Kevin Durand, who's like a muscle meathead from Quebec, basically, and he's really dumb. But I really like Dan Stevens as an actor. I think he's a really good actor. Watch The Guest if you've seen that. That's a better movie than this, but that movie's amazing. So yeah, I would say I like that more, but I think Dan Stevens has hopefully a long career ahead of him, and he's really good in this. So, but I'll get into spoilers now. So spoilers. They go to this mansion, they kidnap this girl, her dad's super rich, they want $50 million. Giancarlo Esposito says he'll pay in like 24, I think it's 24 or 48 hours, I think it's 48, and he's like, you all just wait here. He takes all their phones, and then he locks up the place and leaves. So off the bat, that's a little weird. Why don't you stay with them? But I guess he's like, well, I'll be negotiating with the dad to get the money. And then throughout the movie, you start to find out that this is actually a trap, that they are food for this little girl who's a vampire. And I mean, her dad is like the head vampire, and her dad doesn't really care that much about her. She says they don't have a good relationship, which is funny because they're vampires. The dad's like a mafia guy. He uses her as a as an assassin, because you find out that there was this group of people that were going to turn on the dad, and then they were killed in a really weird, mysterious way that no one can explain. So she killed them because she's a vampire, and she flew up to their apartment, which was guarded by FBI and police, and killed them. But so for the negatives, I would say some of the parts where she's chasing these people down and she's like dancing as a ballerina. At first, it was kind of funny, but just thought it kind of got old and ridiculous. So I'd say that's a negative. There's one part where a girl turns into a vampire, and it's pretty obvious she's gonna turn, but they kind of just like don't really watch her. And the guy, the meathead, turns his back on her and just totally trusts her, even though he shouldn't. That's a little ridiculous. There's stuff like that in this movie where I think it's on the cusp of being really good, but it's kind of hampered by some of that, I would say. Dan Stevens, in the end, gets turned into a vampire also by Giancarlo Esposito. He instantly turns on him and kills him. And I thought he killed Abigail too. I thought he stuck her with a spike, with a stake in the heart, but he didn't. And I did kind of like in this movie, though, when vampires die, they just explode. Like, you stick them in the heart, they just explode, their guts go everywhere. So I actually like that, because that's new and different. It's kind of like the opposite of what happens like in Buffy, where they just, melt. It's like, here they explode. I kind of like that. There's some good effects in it. A lot of blood. I mean, it's a vampire movie. But I like the premise of the movie. The premise of the movie I thought was really good. It's a really smart premise, because it's something you haven't seen done before. It's like a kidnapping movie, but then it turns into a vampire movie. So I like that. But I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's got its problems. I think it's a little too long, probably. And I would say some of the people that are there kind of act pretty stupid. Like, they're about to leave, but then of course they don't leave, and then they find out that they're actually trapped there by a door that's gated. Dan Stevens is an ex-cop, and in one scene, Melissa Barrera just guesses all of their backgrounds, which is like kind of ridiculous. Like, how would she do that? But it's a solid movie. It's not perfect, but I think the premise alone pulls the movie into the finish line for me. So yeah, I did enjoy the movie. It's got a great cast. I like that it's all in one location. I tend to like those kind of movies. The house is pretty creepy, and I like at one point, one of the girls who later turns into a vampire falls into this pool of a bunch of dead bodies of people that she's killed before, I guess drained of their blood, and she's like covered in like guts and filth. But so that's interesting that they directed Scream, because I think this is definitely better than those. Because I didn't really like Scream 5 at all, but unfortunately one of the actors in this, a young guy, Angus Cloud, he died soon after filming the movie. He OD'd. So I guess he was actually the junkie and not Melissa Barrera in the movie, but it's sad. I mean, it's very sad. But one of Angus Cloud's final roles before his passing in July 2023. Although production wasn't completed till months after his death, Cloud had filmed all of his scenes before production was shut down. He had signed an autograph for a crew member during his time on set. Melissa Barrera had printed on t-shirts for the cast and crew when filming wrapped. The directors were so impressed by Alicia Weir, who's Abigail's dancing, that they added more dance sequences. Yeah, I think they may have added a little bit too many. That was one part that kind of took me out of the movie. Rather than filming predominantly in a studio, the production team used the famous Guinness Manor in Ireland. Oh, okay. Is that like where the Guinness family originated or something? Kevin Durand was able to change his character's origins and used his native Quebecois accent. Oh, he's actually from Quebec, something he's never done on film before. When he pitched this to directors, it was a no-brainer, and all the cast were able to help design the look of the characters, develop and alter their backstories. The abductors are given pseudonyms. Sinatra, yeah, they're all Martin, Davis Jr., so that's like the Rat Pack. And the movie is open to a sequel because in the end, Abigail survives. Esposito's dead because he was a puppet of hers. She turned him. And of course, in this, crosses don't work because in modern vampire movies, they don't really do that. Which is one reason why I actually thought Salem's Lot. It just felt refreshing to have that crosses work and there's holy ground and stuff. So, I mean, I'm okay with both, but I don't know. It's just kind of like in modern vampire movies, all they're weak against is what? Sunlight, and that's pretty much it. Just sunlight, right? Dracula's Daughter was the working title. Yeah, her father's basically Dracula, and he appears at the end, and her and him have a rocky relationship. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's just got some flaws, but I did like it though. A loose remake of Dracula's Daughter, 1936. Oh, really? Never heard of it. Let's see. It made 42 million. 42.7. Wonder if there's going to be a sequel. But yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. Just wanted to throw out a horror movie with a really good premise. So, but yeah, I guess that's about it though. And see you next time.